Great then. It's 10 more seconds and we can start. So I can briefly introduce myself. So I'm Priyansh, developer with Custom GPT, and with me we have Alden, Anupam, and Bill. So Alden, as you all might be know, like he's the most familiar face on this call, I guess. So he's the CEO, founder of Custom GPT. Anupam here is the VP of engineering, the main guy you can say behind most of the tech stuff that we do, the features that you use, the code that like for developers out here, the code that you use or interact with mostly goes through at least the checking of Anupam, and if it's working, it's not working, he'll be the main frontline developer we can rely on. Then we have Bill here with us, who basically oversees and an advisor to Custom GPT, and like my manager also. So yeah, he will. Francisco is also joined. Yeah, hey Francisco. So let's start with the agenda of today. So we got almost four things that we are excited to talk about, but keeping the length of these developer office hours in mind, that's the June month we are doing. We'll also do one in July, then August, and maybe at the end of August we'll have our fourth developer office hours. So then we can talk about the hosted MCP servers or custom GPT's OpenAI compatibility feature, or maybe the next exciting feature that we build. We can also discuss those. Feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section or the chat section, or we'll be taking those questions mostly at the end. Like you can just wait out 20 minutes. We'll just wrap up with the agenda and thing, and then the floor is open to all of you. Any questions you have around the features or any bugs you may be facing, or how to better or 100% utilize the features that you are using, or the features that you should be using, we'll just let you know on how to better use them. Any bugs that you faced, or things around our product basically. So those will be the things we'll be talking about. And yeah, so let's go with Anupam. So hey, Anupam is here. We can just start with the, I guess all of you guys are familiar with our Slack community channel, and we usually post product updates there. So Marco is our product guy. He just posts new features we did, the enhancements and the bug fixes, the new improvement or optimizations. So maybe Anupam can just walk you through quickly the YouTube integration improvement that we did and the MCP support for ChatGPT that we are currently working on, and it's almost being released slowly to all the folks for us, our custom GPT. Yeah, Anupam, over to you.
Hey guys, and thanks Priyansh for the introduction out there. So last week we pushed two main things, made improvements to the YouTube integration. So YouTube has like different types of uh, channel URLs, one with the channel ID, one with like your handle, or with like a custom name or like a username. So before, our integration was very strict on you have to get like exact channel URL, but then we improved it to get your channel ID based on whatever URL you put in. We have increased the scope of that. We also improved based on whatever data we can pull from your YouTube videos, generating the persona and the startup questions for you. So your bot is up and running and you don't have to do those things manually. Also, your agent's name, we pick the channel name from whatever YouTube channel you put in and update your agent's name accordingly. So overall, it has improved the user experience of creating a bot out of your YouTube channel and be able to communicate with it. On the MCP support, few weeks back, we started supporting no-code way to create an MCP server for your RAG system through Custom GPT. And then ChatGPT itself added support for adding your custom integration via MCP servers. But it had a very strict schema on what tools can be exposed. Basically, two major tools are search and fetch, which doesn't allow any other MCP server to directly integrate with the deep research on the chat GPT. So we added a new option in the MCP section, just specific for OpenAI chat GPT. It should be easy to copy a link from there and put it in the chat GPT MCP server integration, and it should be able to connect to your RAG agent on Custom GPT and should be able to respond based on your RAG agent.
Great, great. So I guess we have, I guess, roll out this feature to our users, our beta users, I guess, or maybe we'll be doing that. So thanks, Anupam. Thanks for these small product updates. We also have some improvements or bug fixes that are listed on your screen. Maybe I can just click on the slideshow. Some bug fixes and improvements, like when a URL doesn't match that container sitemap, now it's possible to like click off crawling from the exact URL instead of a main domain. The small improvements, maybe you can take 1 minute of your time to just read through it if you're interested, or can just skip ahead and go along with the agenda. But like, bug fixes, improvements are something we usually do weekly. So if you all guys have joined our community Slack, all fixes, information, what's new, what's hot will be shared there. So I hope you do join. So yes, let's just me, yeah. Uh, yes. Sorry for that little hiccup. So we also have our YouTube channel and a playlist specifically for developers where we post how you can like add file to an existing project using our API, or delete a file, delete a project, create a project, add maybe sitemap and things like that. So you can expect more things from that. I'll just even show you a real video that we have posted there. But before that, I also wanted to talk about, we also have a sorry, yeah. We'll just share our community Slack link in the chat. So that's there. We also have a few repositories open source. So you can just go ahead and click on this custom GPT cookbook thing. So what exactly this cookbook holds are basically examples. Examples like adding a file to an existing project, the working code examples, samples, or maybe creating an agent by sitemap, creating a page, updating metadata, or getting citations from a file. All these code samples are also present here. You just have to maybe copy, paste, and use it on VS Code or Google Colab. So a demo of this, maybe we can, in the next office hours, we can, this is something we can do there. But sure, that's also available. You just have to copy code and run it on, and it will be reflected in the custom GPT platform itself. Also about little bit about the OpenAI SDK compatibility. So this is still in beta, but as you can see, with just 10 lines of code, you can get it started using our API keys and our endpoint with any OpenAI compatible project. So you just need to change the API key and the base URL, and your project will be good to go. We also have a little demo here, so I can just maybe start this video so that it will be more clear for the guys. So I guess you can just let me know if
Can you tell me about the
did you get the audio? So I can just
Mm-hmm.
get the, yeah, sure, thanks.
Yes.
Can you tell me about the best features of CustomGPT.ai in one sentence?
Custom GPT has the most accurate and hallucination-free RAG technology.
Okay, so what you saw just now was a OpenAI based client which is using voice as an interface, and we have a front end as well for it. So what I did was swap out the API endpoint, the base API endpoint, and the API key with our custom GPT API endpoints and API key. So you just transformed, or you can just transform any project that's using OpenAI SDKs or a project based on that with our system that is a RAG based system. So just go over to the project or your custom GPT platform, go to profile section, get an API key. The voice client that I just showed you, let me show it again to you, was using data that I inserted in my project. So data sources like the website which I inserted as a data source, or you can also have multiple data sources or multiple platforms like wakil.com, or you can add a sitemap to it and the model will answer based on the sitemap.
Supports various data sources.
So to just run this project, you need to clone this repo. I'll add a link to this project in the description below. Go to readme section. First of all, just pick if you have an Apple Silicon based device or a Linux device. Run the docker build command using buildx and just have docker run. You would need a docker client installed, so I already have one and I already performed the docker run command, and that's why you can see just by going to localhost 8000 index.html you can interact with this custom client. So that's it from my side. I'll see you in the next one.
So guys, this was just an open source project that we forked and replaced its endpoint and token with our endpoint and token, and it works seamlessly. It fetches the data from our platform. So that little demo of the OpenAI compatibility test. And I hope if anyone has questions, just feel free to ask using the voice you have, or the voice, or just on the chat section. As we'll move with the hosted MCP server, and we also have a little demo with a pre-recorded video. We won't be showing a live demo, like maybe this call, maybe in the next call, we can just show you a live demo as well. But sure, feel free to ask any questions if you have about the OpenAI compatibility or all the things that we discussed till the slide 13. So I guess we are good to go. So this is the our CustomGPT.ai hosted servers basic high level architecture on how we did it. What are the clients that we support? So maybe Alden or Anupam or Bill, maybe you can anyone just can you just maybe give a better overview of how this thing works, so that it's not just me speaking. Like let's give others a chance as well. We have almost our entire team on this call. So yeah, Anupam.
So Priyansh,
Uh,
you want me to do a demo of the MCP server?
sure, like if you're good to go, we can just give it a demo right now itself. It's a good thing to do.
Yeah, so this is the developer hours, so let's give it a shot, right?
Sure.
So, as a quick background,
Yeah.
people would have seen this new thing, MCP, taking off, right? And one of the things we wanted to do was help our customers connect to the MCP ecosystem. So, given custom GPT's mantra of like making it as simple and no code as possible, we created an MCP endpoint. Now I'll show you like how easy it is to get plugged into the MCP ecosystem, right? So this is a project that I had something for Vanguard, right? And so we added this new deployment option, right, for MCP. And these are various MCP clients, which means they can call out to custom GPT and get information. So, for the purpose of this demo, I took the MCP endpoint and just copied this MCP endpoint. And now let's take a look at ChatGPT. Okay. So, in ChatGPT, I was able to go and set up the connection to the that endpoint, right? So let me see, uh, connector. This is pretty.
Should be in my connectors, I guess, Alden.
Which one?
It's
My
there.
under my connectors, right? So under my connectors, I was able to. All you have to do is go and like copy paste the URL and you know test MC. I'll call it custom GPT for Vanguard, right? MC connector to Vanguard.
Uh, Alden, I think you picked the wrong URL from the
Oh, I should pick the ChatGPT one.
ChatGPT. Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
very specific, ChatGPT, because
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, because ChatGPT is a little messed up. They don't respect the MCP as much. Okay, there you go. Right. So here it appeared, the custom GPT for Vanguard. And now let's go back and see if we can do a query. Right. So let's use something fast like O3 Mini. We go into tools, say run deep research. It's up only MCP connectors are only supported on the deep research. And here, let's enable the Vanguard one, right? So what can Vanguard institutional do for me? right? Now, it's running its deep research task where it will call out to your data in custom GPT and plug it into this deep research task. So the good news with this is that it's allowing your data sources to become accessible in ChatGPT, Claude, and other MCP clients. I was able to make this work in Claude as well. The bad news is that these third party clients like ChatGPT and Claude, they are not very good at respecting hallucination and other protections. So it's a hit and miss, due to which I haven't been able to fully trust the MCP connectors when it comes to, you know, ChatGPT and Claude. But this is the start of an exciting journey, I'm hoping. And like as these clients become more sophisticated, the MCP connectors will start having some good effects. In in terms of using this, if you're already vested in the Chat GPT and Claude ecosystem, this could be another way that you can bring in your own data into the mix. So that's where we stand. It's like this will take some time to run, but it'll pull data from your knowledge base that I showed and give like a deep research report. So that's yeah. So that was the no code setup as far as like connecting MCP to your own data.
So just for the people to know, Alden showing a demo of MCP was not at all scripted. So this is like kudos to Alden for just putting up a demo real quick in real time. So thanks for that. And then just start with one of the things. So Alden, you can let me know if the outputs are ready. We can, after maybe 10 minutes, show the output also to our users or people on this call.
Sure.
Great. So about the MCP hosted server, so I can just you can skip this for now, or maybe when Alden shows, I can just show you this demo, a pre-recorded demo that we already have on how to set up, how to use it with all the clients that we support. Before that, we have a little more demo on the Postman side of things. So suppose the step one will be you can get a API key from our platform, and then you can use this developer resources section, the thing which I'm here hovering right now. So when you get there, you'll see something called as quick start with Postman config. So what it does, it actually, let me show you. Let's talk less and show more. So I think my entire screen is being shared. Yeah, so that's my account. I can just go to any developers. You'll see I have some API keys, some accounts, security, billing, and plans. So this is specifically developer section that we have recently introduced in the platform. Let's see docs, API references, and this is the thing of importance. Quick start with Postman config. So when I click over here, it will open up a link which will have all our APIs endpoints under a collection called as CustomGPT.ai API collection v1. And what this basically does is the things that you see on docs. So basically, if you go to our docs like docs.customgpt.ai, you'll see things like pages, get request, delete, post, get agent settings, citations. So usually what happens is devs come here, they maybe click on, let me see, one, this, take this URL, post to Postman, and then add parameters like project name, sitemap, file data retention, things like that. So with this thing, with this feature, I can say, or this hosted collection, just import it to your collection, or maybe fork it, so that you can just click ahead and fork this collection. It will get imported to your account. All the base parameters are already added. You have to maybe select, unselect, change values, and just hit responses. So let me show you one quick example. But before you do that, you also will have to fork a public collection before you can use it. I've already done that. And you need to also change the JWT token, because without token, without your API token, this thing won't work. So after, yeah, it says to make changes, fork this to your workspace. Just click over the fork collection, add your JWT token over here, and then you can just send requests. So I can quickly show you that right now. Here, variables. So this, okay, just let me delete this. To my platform, create a new API key. I can just call it dev office key. Create a key. Copy this key. Let me save it somewhere else. Yeah. And what was the name exactly? JWT underscore token. JWT underscore token. Paste it over here, paste it over here. So don't worry, guys. I'll be deleting this API key. It's not a good practice to make your API keys public. So yeah, just click on save, because if you won't save it, it's not automatically getting saved. So I had this issues, like I was frustrated why it's not working, but you need to save this collection first, save these changes. Let me go ahead to maybe agents. Yeah, create a new agent. So you can go office hours live. This is the sitemap I'll be using. It's website, and it will just fetch all the pages around. We have 200 pages on this site, and just send a request. So yeah, it got created office hours. Okay, it's LUV. Sorry for that typo. And if I go to my platform agents, yes, this will get created, and the data source, not deploy section. Go back. Yeah, the MCP server that all know talking about. We support these many things, but that's for another demo. We go and see the personalize.
Go to build.
So, yeah,
Build.
I think we have changed a few things here and there, but yeah, these is the data source that will be used if maybe if I go and interact with this agent. So it's currently queued. This will be processed and will be ready for asking questions maybe in 2 minutes at max, or maybe even 1 minute, or basically it's fast. That's what I would like to say. So yeah, then again, if I want to delete a certain agent, I can just click over here. We have our JWT token already set up. The base URL is also set up. You can change it however you want, but that's not something I would recommend. Change the parameters. Okay, header. Just you can play along with these parameters over here and interact with the APIs that we have. So that's basically what the purpose of this thing was. We see a few people using it already. So if I hover over here, you see a few people were active using this collection 1 day ago, 14 hours ago, and this is me with a burner account right now active. So yeah, feel free to use this. It might help you with our APIs if you think going and copying is not that great for you. So that's one thing we wanted to show you. And yeah, that's the thing. And let me show you again the MCP server demo. So Alden, is the output ready, or we should wait for like a few more minutes?
So I have an output from a previous run, which
Sure.
I can share. So it's almost the same query that I had. So this was a deep research task. What services does Vanguard offer? Sorry. And it ran through the knowledge base, used MCP, and it was able to create this big research report. So, sorry. Yeah. So, very good way of connecting these popular tools like ChatGPT and Claude
Mhm.
into your own knowledge base, and bring in various data sources into like the ChatGPT experience. And ChatGPT and Claude are just example clients. Like, as you guys get into more advanced clients like agents and things like that, then I think the MCP aspect will really come into play.
Got it. Got it. So that's time for another demo, but this will be a pre-recorded one. So just let me share one thing, and this will be the last thing that we'll be showing, and then the floor will be open for questions to anyone, anything, just shoot at us. So let me on slideshow.
Hey
Yeah.
folks, Priyansh, this about this release. with
So,
our RAG tech.
and
This also means that you can now deploy AI agents with accurate business data in minutes with zero server management required. Isn't it cool? So in today's demo, I'll show you two key perspectives. Number one is from a development side or a deployment side of things, you'll see how to set up a custom GPT MCP endpoint that can answer questions along with documents from Google Drive. Second point being from a consumption side, we'll also use Claude or any other MCP client to demonstrate how an MCP endpoint functions in the real world use cases. And remember, you can take your MCP endpoint and plug it into any of the agentic frameworks like Q.ai or N8N that have MCP support. Okay, so that's lots of talking. Now it's the demo time. Let's get started. First, we'll log into CustomGPT. It's straightforward. Use your business email for that purpose. And then I'm going to start by creating an agent using Google Drive as my data source. So it's very simple and straightforward with minimal permissions required. Just hit continue and you will be good to go. Yeah. So with that being done, for this demo, I'll be importing a product information of a smart home security device known as SecureGuard Pro, and then our systems will add the documents and then proceed to add those documents into our system, so you will be able to chat with it. So great. So now let's test it out using our Ask bot, and I'll ask the first question being, tell me about this product's price. Yeah, tell me about the product price. And yeah, and there is the answer, the basic, premium, professional. Great, that's what we wanted. Now let's go over and great, now let's deploy this. You'll see we have a couple of options for like web share, embedding, the API tab where you can get the API, and then there's a third tab that says MCP server beta, our newest launch. Just click on the MCP server option and we'll see a list of MCP clients like Anthropix, Claude, Cursor, Windsurf, etc. Read the steps carefully. That MCP only works with Claude's desktop version and not the web version, and you will need to have Node.js installed. Then hit the hyperlink where it says click here to generate your custom GPT's MCP token. You will see a sidebar notification and then your MCP token is created. And then it will be reflected in the server configurations JSON bearer token that you need to copy and paste it in Claude's config file. So just copy the config, open up settings, go to desktop. Yeah, go to desktop, open up the edit config option. You will see a file called claude_desktop_config.json. Feel free to open this file with any text editor of your choice. If you never used MCP server, you'll see the config file being empty, but because I am using a file system, you'll see the file system configs file over here. So feel free to just replace everything that's in there and just save this file. Because I have a file system MCP client already configured, I need to edit this configuration. I'll just copy the specific custom GPT part, append it over here and save the file. Great. Just save the file and close everything and restart Claude Desktop for the changes to take effect. So I'll just do that, close everything. Great. Close this also and this as well. So now that it has restarted, you'll see a list of available MCP tools, like the send message is the one that we'll be using. It searches for the answer for the storage from the storage knowledge base. That is the one thing coming from the custom GPT's project. Now let's go ahead and ask a question like, yeah, can you tell me about the price of the product from the knowledge base? And we'll wait for it to configure and answer our question. Misspelling, yeah, done. Great, we'll wait for a few seconds. So just as Claude starts to answer the question, you will see a prompt, yeah, like this, asking for your confirmation about using an external integration. Just click allow for once to snooze this pop-up. And there you go. As Claude says, based on the information that we have found on the knowledge base, here is your answer. So this answer it gave is coming from our RAG project that we saw earlier. So that was a demo, and I can say that this hosted MCP.
So yeah, guys, that was a demo that we did around a month or half previously. So that's a record video of that. Now, I guess we're almost done with the first office hours for June 2025. So feel free to post any questions or maybe use your voice to ask us questions regarding the product or the MCP or the OpenAI SDK compatibility that we have. So over to you guys.
Yeah, encourage anybody to ask questions because you're not often in a situation where you can ask questions directly to the CEO and the VP of engineering, insight into product roadmap, any issues, this is the time. So please feel free.
Hey
So
guys,
I've added
I have a
question in the
question.
Q&A.
Sure.
So I'm looking at Custom GPT as a project. I want to develop a research agent. Is there a way to have and this is probably a simplistic question compared to what you guys are showing today, but is there a way to schedule retrieval of knowledge? Like meaning if I'm linking up a number of websites, is there a way for it to scrape those websites for new articles and new news every single day? Or
Yeah, I can take that actually.
sure.
Yeah, a good question, Hit. So what you're asking for is something called auto sync, which is a feature
Yeah.
we had built into the system, right? And as you can imagine, for the bot to respond correctly, the bot should always be in sync with your website, right?
Yeah, and multiple websites.
Right. And, it's not like pricing could change on your website. You could
Yeah.
add more articles. So one of the first few features that was asked of us was an auto sync feature, which we have in the system. So
So if I had a site like let's say CNBC.com, which has articles constantly being published on it, will it be able to crawl the website?
yes,
And will
yes,
so if I just sync it to CNBC.com, will it be able to go and crawl like on a routine basis, go and crawl all the web links?
absolutely. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
So check this out, okay? So you mentioned CNBC, but let's use Vanguard here,
Yep.
right? So this is the sitemap for Vanguard that was added. And what I can do here is, you see this button, enable auto sync.
Mm-hmm.
I can enable the auto sync and I can schedule and say how often I want it. So I can say something like update on change, add new pages, remove deleted pages, update the existing pages, and how often I want it synced. Like I can say basic, sync daily, right? Save changes. And now, as you can expect, it will check daily, just like Google does for changes on the sitemap.
Yep.
And then, the bot remains in sync. And this is important because without this feature, your bot will quickly fall out of sync with the source data,
Right.
and then it'll start answering wrong stuff, outdated stuff. It won't have new information.
Okay. So a site like CNBC has, tens of thousands of links. Will it go and scrape every single one?
No.
What
So
will it
if
do?
you notice the options that I had,
Yeah.
it basically said update on change, right?
Right.
Out of the 10,000, if 9,900 did not change from day to day, then it doesn't need to update them. Usually in the sitemap, there's something called, there's a timestamp.
Yep.
And guys like Google and us, we look at that timestamp, and if the timestamp has not changed, we just
Okay.
say it doesn't need to be updated.
Okay. I have a follow-up question on that timestamp, if I can ask it. Like a site like CNBC, like let's say we're talking about a stock like Apple. It'll have different articles historically that point to a different price of Apple, right? Like, if it's from last year, I'll say, oh, Apple was $160, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Is the bot intelligent enough to understand the timestamp of data? Like, so if I was to ask, what is the
Correct. That's a fantastic question. And the answer to that is unfortunately no. what our system is something called RAG,
Mhm.
Retrieval Augmented Generation, and
Yep.
one of the unsolved problems in RAG is to figure out, what is the relevant information,
Got
right?
it.
Because in your example, if you ask what is the price of Apple, maybe you can figure out that the last article from yesterday is the one that needs to be referenced, right?
Yep.
But if somebody says, hey, what sort of ice cream does Het Shah like, right? And there could be three articles, one from a month ago and one from a year ago and one from 3 years ago, and the AI cannot disambiguate this stuff.
Got it.
So
Okay.
whenever there are such issues where multiple data sources are popped together into one knowledge base, it's very difficult for AI to disambiguate without any information, right?
Okay.
Another good example of this is like we have manufacturing clients, and they have like, printer version 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. So how do you figure out what version is the relevant one? So these
That's
are
good.
like,
I have a follow-on question though for you, Het. So
Yeah.
are you building out a custom client, or are you using the default client that CustomGPT has, or what kind of application are you building on the front end side of things?
I don't know. I'm a
Okay.
no code type of guy, and so I'm looking for a solution where I can. I wanna use something that's simplistic, so I can just test to see if the solution works with my clients. And what I'm trying to build is I'm a oil and natural gas market analyst, and half my job is looking at um, fundamental reasoning of why the market's moving. And I feel like I can build that into a bot and have the bot answer 80% of my questions. And so a lot of things I do is I look through PDFs for information and try to piece information together. And then I'm also charting information from databases and CSV files. And I don't know if you guys have an ability to chart.
uh, ability to chart, the answer is no. But the first part which you mentioned, wherein you are observing data sources on a given topic, uh,
Yep.
I had worked on creating a stock market GPT a couple of months ago, where I was listening in on RSS feeds. Right, you can essentially listen in on an RSS feed and add that to custom GPT, and that way, if you are an analyst for, you said, oil and natural gas, right, you can create a feed out of that, enable the auto sync feature, and that GPT will be always in sync with whatever the latest news is on that topic.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
this is I think, like, if you can follow up with Priyansh on the Slack channel, like I could probably like give you the Google RSS link that can be used. Um, and it's pretty cool. Like it automatically updates itself, and you get like a GPT that is up to date.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
That actually would be quite helpful. And can you CSV files?
Uh,
Like,
yeah, so CSV is
the,
little tricky, and we do have support for it, but it's
yeah.
important to understand that a rag like ours, doesn't do math, so it can't do Excel type stuff. It is more
Hmm.
like a search based system. So if you upload a CSV, you can't say like, hey, do an analysis or a regression on this, and give
Right.
me a result based on some simulation, right? That is more, you're better off, I would say, attaching the document to chat GPT and having it use it advanced data analyzer for that.
Okay. Perfect. I appreciate
Okay.
you guys answering questions.
I have another question. I have some clients who would like to, if I make a bot based on what I think they should need, and I share that bot with them, embed them in their internal systems, then they would like to integrate some of their private data with my bot without sharing that data with me. but on the inside of the clients, the corporate side, they get a kind of the users just see one data set. They just have one kind of bot to translate different kind of information. Would that be possible?
Right. So, to understand your question,
Mm-hmm.
you want to build a GPT,
Mm-hmm.
then the user wants to add his data
Yes.
only to his session.
Yes.
Not he doesn't want to contribute data to your
No.
bot.
Yes.
Correct.
Exactly.
So we are about to release a feature called Document Analyzer,
Mm-hmm.
where one document can be attached, right, and become
Mm-hmm.
part of the conversation. So I would say that would be a good thing to beta test. Like, per maybe if you can reach out to Priyansh, we can
Mm-hmm.
enable that for your account.
Is that one document at a time, or is it a database, or?
No, it's one document. So remember, in this case, the user is attaching his own document.
Yeah.
So I think it is one document at a time right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I heard about that. Okay.
Yeah, a classic example would be like, somebody attaching their survey result or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it getting analyzed based on the knowledge base.
Yeah, I could say in this case, the company is doing research on medical research, and they don't want to share the results with anyone whatsoever. But they still would like to have, you could say, the user interface you are providing, because it gives them a very good analysis of who is asking, what people are asking, and what kind of dialogue they have with the bot. Because if you go to Claude or OpenAI or any of the others, you don't get any feedback from what actually is questioned in the bot.
Correct. Yeah, the
So
log.
all the statistics and the log file, that's very beneficial.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
And they want to have that benefit, but not share their private data.
Correct. Understood. Yeah, the customer intelligence aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
And
good,
and,
good question. Uh, uh,
and of course, another alternative to that, you talk about an MCP server. What about an MCP client? Will you make an MCP client, because then I would have your analytics?
yeah, absolutely. So that's the plan. The first part of our MCP plan was to have the server, which we do now.
Mm-hmm.
And now we started looking into how to safely enable MCP tools in our own system. That way, we become a client
Yeah.
and we get to call out to other MCP servers similar to ChatGPT and Claude
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else. So, good idea. I don't have the timeline for that, but it's definitely on the roadmap.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
yeah. Thanks, Per. There was a question here from Avinash.
Yes.
Yeah. So, can I answer that one? I can take that.
Yeah, go ahead, Alvin.
Yeah. So thanks, Avinash. That's a fantastic question. And the question is that is there any protection for rate limits in case a user goes crazy and starts
Yes,
like
correct.
asking 1,000 questions,
And we
right?
lose our limit in a few days, like a monthly limit in a week or something, right?
Correct. So I'll show you like two protections that we've built in, right? So uh, actually, if we go to personalize, right, and then there is security, and under security we build these two features: recapture and whitelisted domains, right? So what
Okay.
we tell
Yeah.
people is, if you're worried about somebody going crazy and like asking 1,000 questions, you can enable recapture. At least they are not being able to do automated, and then
Yes.
whitelisting the domain where you have the bot, such that that's an additional level of protection,
Okay. Correct.
right?
I can go to the HTML and add it on my site, like the embedded hosting
Correct.
agent. Correct. Yeah.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, we've
So
done the whitelisting already, but yeah, reCAPTCHA we can check. Yeah.
correct. Right. So this is a very quick way that should stop 99.9% of people who are trying to spam. Right now,
Hmm.
your question might be like, wait, 99.9 is not good enough. I want 100%. Right. So if you
Yes.
want 100%, then we say like two other things. Right. Whichever page you have that embedded bot embedded in, you can protect that using your own system like IP protections, rate limiting, Cloudflare,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
things like that, right?
Correct.
So that would get you to 99.99. Now, if you want to get to 99.99999, another option we have is we built this feature called licensing keys, which we have enabled
Okay.
for enterprise clients. And
Okay.
with that, you get to define what the keys are that can access the bot, and then you manage the keys, and we only respect a request from those keys. So that
Okay.
gives like super, like, we have some financial clients and they want like that high, extremely high level of security. So under those cases, we have the licensing keys, and I think the licensing keys, the feature that is available in our API as well.
Okay. Okay. Right. So if I have to use, if I use the API and build my own front end, right, I would have more control. Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Obviously. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You The good
And
news is
yeah.
you would have more control. The bad news is now you are managing a piece of software and creating your
Right.
own UIs and things like that.
Right. And is there, if we have to go via, if we have to go through that too, right? Is there any recommendation for front end which has lots of the stuff already ready, and I can just plug in the API endpoints, or does it
Yeah.
have to be like
uh,
full blown custom agent?
no, I
Well,
use the Vercel has a nice one. Even I was able to, like, in 2 minutes I was able to click 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 and deploy it.
okay,
So,
Vercel. Okay.
yeah, Vercel AI chatbot, and in that you can just add a configuration
And
for
your
custom.
API endpoints match to what they are asking, or
The good
up to a
news
certain
is,
extent, I would say.
yeah, the good news is, remember Priyansh had talked about the OpenAI compatible one.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you use the OpenAI compatible endpoint, then
Okay.
beautifully
Hmm.
Vercel AI works out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you run into any problems, like, just ask in our Slack, and because we tested it with Vercel and it works pretty well.
Yes. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
it.
that, Ash.
So I have one question actually for anybody, uh, which is, does anybody want to introduce themselves and tell us like what they are working on? I would love to, understand what you all are working on and any challenges that you're having. This doesn't have to be custom GPT related. It just AI is exciting enough right now that would love to hear what you all are working on.
Right, right, right. So we have another. Hi, this is Avinash here again, right? So I work at software company, IT services company, right? So we have a client, right? Like who wants to run their own models, right, on their own cloud, right? And they don't, and they want to run the models on their own uh, servers, basically, and they are insisting that they must, like all the data must reside in India, and it must not be on AWS cloud or something, right? So, i- is there a better option other than renting like a GPU on premise and doing the setup on premise? Is there a cloud option which would give us hosting which would be only in India? I don't think so, right?
Yeah. So what you're asking for is called data residency. And I'm not sure if, like, certainly Custom GPT doesn't have it.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course. And yeah,
yeah. And
correct.
one thing you should ask your client is whether they are opposed to even hosting in AWS. AWS, you can happily host it in India using AWS India.
I don't think so. I looked at AWS Bedrock, right? And it it would be like a DR architect. It would be a DR architecture, right? It would not just be only in India, correct? It would be like a distributed system, if I'm not wrong.
Uh, No, you should be able to use, like, you know, AWS India, like use that region, make sure all the instances are there, and then just
Right.
host
Okay.
everything on those instances.
Right. Right. But the Jeep, so actually they want to use like a Llama 3 model, let's say Llama 3.3, right? And it needs like NVIDIA A100 GPUs and stuff, right? So I don't think those are there in India regions as per what I've seen from.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I'm not familiar with what Amazon has made available,
Yeah.
but yeah, depending on the complexity, I would say, like, use one of those Dockers where everything is localized, like
Hmm.
Olama, Llama 3, and all of those. And that way you might be able to, execute on that while keeping everything local.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very common, but these days there are like these, people have created these open source projects with
Hmm.
extremely nicely defined Dockerized stuff where you can run everything 100% local. So
Right. Right.
that might be a good solution. If you don't want to get into managing that, then you'll just have to see if somebody, services India and is making this available
Hmm.
out of the box.
Right. Correct.
Right. Through thing that uh, yeah.
Sorry, Anupam, you're breaking up.
I'm saying if not just right within like which is happening. Can you hear me?
No, you're still breaking up, Anupam. Yeah, looks like he muted.
Oh, Kruthrim.
Yeah, it's the Ola thing, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
yeah I did read up, but I'm not sure why. Like I don't remember like, why I rejected that, but I think there was a reason. I don't remember exactly now, but I've read up on that a little bit. Yes.
You might want to try out Sarvam AI as well if that's something you like, maybe look into it. Great, then we'll be waiting for any other questions if any of you guys have, or we can call this a day. So yeah, waiting for the questions. And yeah,
I have a question about,
yeah.
yeah, I have a question about, because we're building a customer support AI and we're trying to figure out if we could pass on information like email or a serial number. Does it get stored and be able to use that for an email through Zapier?
That's a
So
good use case, Lance. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to pass in the email into the conversation,
We
and then
so
what?
in the sorry in the start of the chat, we have the bot ask for an email and a serial number.
Okay.
And then when the bot can't answer, we have the bot kind of go and send or get the Zapier to be able to send the email out to like a customer support person. we should be, we're trying to be able to use the email that they entered in and the serial number and then pass it on through the email without having to go to custom GPT. Is that possible?
Okay. Not right now, but that is something we are working
Okay.
on based on a new agent that is coming out, where we'll ask the email address and then have hooks into either Zapier or MCP.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
How are you doing that now, Lance? Are you using the existing Zapier integration?
Yeah, I'm using the existing one. So in Zapier, it doesn't recognize any of those info. You just, you know, it has like the message ID, message URL. So right now we're just passing on the URL to email it out to an agent, to an actual person.
Okay. So
Mhm.
are you using any of the custom GPT Zapier integrations in that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you're getting.
So the first step is custom GPT and then to an email.
Got it. So your
Yes.
Zapier app gets called anytime a message is posted into the conversation.
Correct.
And then you're analyzing the text of that to take some kind of action.
Yeah, it kind of gives you information of what you could grab. So there's like
Mhm.
just the message ID, the message name, all of the other information. There's not, you can't take the whole thing and just post it there. You just have to send a URL. Like there's like a message URL.
You should have the message itself, the message body. Are you not seeing that?
I've not tested that. I haven't seen that. It'll just pick one conversation, I think. It doesn't do the whole post.
Yeah, you should for every message, you should get notified and have access to the message text itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
definitely. Yeah, that should be there.
Yeah.
And if it's not, obviously let us know.
Right.
Yeah. And Lance, I'm just curious, what is the use case and like outcome that you all are doing here? Is it to
So we
save
have,
for the customer support guy?
right, for customer support to kind of answer just easy or simple, you know, common questions. And then if you can't answer it, then they'll send it out to our ticketing system. We
Okay.
can't get that to connect yet, but we're just doing an email for now.
Okay. Right. So ticket deflection is what the goal here.
We have two actually. So the other bot,
Right?
go ahead.
I was
Say that
saying
again?
take deflection, but also escalation at the point when it can't answer. You want to collect the email address. And what you're doing is you take through Zapier the email address that's provided, and then you escalate it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're kind of instructing the bot to say, if he can't answer it, then he needs to escalate it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And the other part is really we're trying to connect it to our ticketing system, where the ticketing system will kind of, will, let's say, use the email on the, or use their email address to place as an email coming from. And our ticketing system will take that and use their email as who sent it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So right now we can't grab an email, so we're not going to do that right at this moment.
Okay.
We're using Kaizu as a ticketing system, if you want to know.
Sorry, who was that? Zendesk?
Kaizu.
Okay.
Do you know the email address when somebody starts the chat? But the reason why I'm asking is there is a way to pass it in to the bot itself if you know it outside the bot. So if the bot sits on a page and that page has access to the email address, there is a way to make the bot aware of that email address if you know it in the context of the page.
So we have the bot ask for an email, and then when you provide it, then it kind of understands that it's an email. But in that Zapier, there's no metadata to say, okay, this is email.
Yeah, no, that part's clear. I get that crystal clear.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if the bot itself sits on a page where the page has knowledge of what that email address is. Because if that's the case, there's another way you could add that email address in.
How would
Like
you do that?
Well, if for example you're on a page and the user's logged into that page, so you would have, unknown user, and then for that known user, if you know their email address, there's actually an attribute that you can use on the embed code that allows you to pass in the email address and to use it as an identifier for that user.
Okay, yeah, and they're so in this instance, they're not logging in
There you
our
go.
page. They're just
Yeah,
it's
so
just
you're
gonna be
doing-
like a main support page. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're doing the best thing there.
Mhm. Yeah. So we're really kind of starting out. I mean, this was just handed off to me 5 days ago, so I'm kind of learning as much as I can here.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, if you're on
It's
Slack,
pretty
post an-
intuitive. It's pretty good.
Good. Yeah, reach out on Slack if you have any questions as you go.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
But then, yeah, thanks everyone. Like Colin said in the chat. So I guess we have also answered all the questions and just gear up to our next developer office hours that we do. We'll notify you on Slack via email, or if you have subscribed to our calendar, you'll get an email instantly. So thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you maybe after 2 weeks or a month. So bye-bye.
Thanks,
guys.
Grant. Alden. Thanks, Anupam. And thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks everybody.